Hello, happy Wednesday. I am just here to go over the Wednesday agenda for April 15th. April 15th. Okay, so for reading today, you could read the book I Used to Help Too. It's in your e-textbook, which is in your portal. Then you go to the brown little book and you could read that, or you have two options today. That, or you could do the crab book pages. Remember our yellow crab book? A lot of you have the crab books now. You know how to do them. You know the directions are on the bottom, and you just do the pages for this week, which are Unit 10, Week 1. Okay, you're also going to have a page that asks you about Peter's chair, which is the story we read together. Okay, so I encourage you, if you have the crab book, to do the crab book pages. Okay, and do a little of your I Ready reading, a little of your I Ready math, just 45 minutes for the whole week. Once you reach 45, you don't have to do anything more unless your parents want you to do more. Okay, you're also going to do for math, you're going to go to the e-textbook again. Remember that brown little textbook on the portal, and you're going to do the interactive lesson for 11.4. Okay, if you see that there are many questions, over 20 questions, you could stop. You don't have to continue going, because some parent told me that there were over 40 questions in one of the lessons. So if you see that, stop at 20. That one is not a graded assignment. It is for practice, okay? So for science, you're going to continue the butterfly life cycle. If you haven't finished your diagram of the life cycle of a butterfly, you can finish that. I will give you an example to see. This is Chloe, what she used to make her life cycle. And ooh, I see she did it wrong, so I'm gonna have to help her fix it. It doesn't go, wait, did she? Oh, I'm sorry, she did do it right. So it starts as an egg, then the arrow goes to a caterpillar, chrysalis, butterfly. Make sure you color it, you cut it. You can do this cut and paste one, or you can make it yourself. If you want to draw, if you're one of the artists in our class, I know that a lot of you enjoy the art, you could make the diagram yourself. So that's your choice. Today we're just continuing that. So if you finished it already, nothing for science today. However, I'm going to send you a video. I am going to send you a butterfly video today. There has been more change today for our little creature. So I want you to see that. I'm going to upload it and I'll send it to your parents. So ask them, can I see the butterfly video or the caterpillar video? Okay, for social studies, you are using your social studies book right here, and you're doing just two little pages, page 7 and page 8. It is right here. Remember, we're talking about how you've changed. You're going to read this, whatever it tells you. If there's discussion questions like this, you could discuss it with your parents. That's it. Page 6 and 7. Okay, since today was Wordly Wednesday, we already went over your journal. It's just to write a sentence with the word sail, like sailing in a boat, and mail. Mail you get in envelopes, that mail. Okay, for word work, review your spelling and sight words. You can use the video I sent you guys with the review, or you can use Spelling City, or you can use flashcards and practice them. Just make sure you're practicing them. Okay, and en español, los colores son rojo y azul. Hoy vas a escribir una oración. Today you're going to write a sentence de el color azul. Okay, él es azul. La es azul. So, la camisa es azul. El plato es azul. Remember, you use punctuation. You still start with uppercase letter. You end with a period. That is it for today, guys. Make sure you get your PE in. Make sure you keep moving, and keep reading. So now what we're going to do is we're going to do the listening comprehension that ties into our theme this week. So our listening comprehension story, this is our listening story, is fiction. It is a tale, okay? Not a tale from an animal. This is another tale spelled T-A-L-G. This is a tale, which we've talked about tales. There's some that are fairy tales. A tale is fictional story, okay? So it's called The Elves and the Shoemakers. Here we go. Remember what good listeners do. You shouldn't be playing with anything. Put your eyes, and remember you're making a story in your mind. Once upon a time, there lived two shoemakers, a man and his wife. They worked in a small shoe shop where they made and repaired shoes. Like others in their neighborhood, the shoemakers were honest and hardworking, but poor. One fall day, the shoemakers had only a few bits and pieces of shoe leather left and no money to buy other supplies. I still have hammers and nails, but there is hardly enough leather to make another pair of shoes, said the shoemaker sadly. And there is no food left for dinner, added his wife. That evening, the shoemakers left the scraps of leather on the work table and went to bed hungry. They would decide what to do tomorrow. Remember, decide is when you make a decision. The next morning, the shoemakers went into their shop. Goodness gracious, they both exclaimed. They couldn't believe their eyes, for there, next to the needles and thread, sat a perfect pair of shoes made from the scraps of leather. What beautiful shoes! Such excellent work, said the shoemaker. Who could have done this job for us? His wife took the shoes outside the shop to marvel at them in the daylight. Just then, one of the king's men walked by. What beautiful shoes! Such excellent work, said the king's man. I must buy them. And he gave the shoemakers a gold coin. With the money, the happy shoemakers were able to invite their hungry neighbors to a celebration. Off, one of our words, off. They went to the market to buy food, and with the money they had left, they bought enough leather for 2 pairs of shoes. That night, the neighbors came over for a simple but delicious meal. Later, the shoemakers cut out more leather with large scissors. They left it on the workbench to work on them the next day. Then they went to bed. While the shoemakers slept, 2 tiny elves scurried in. They busily snipped and stitched with strong needles and thick thread. Then they shined their 2 perfect pairs of shoes with a rag. They left the shoes on the work table, and in a flash, they were gone. The next morning, the shoemakers went to their work table. Goodness, they cried. There on the workbench sat 2 beautiful pair of shoes. The shoemakers put the shoes in the shop window. Just then, 2 of the queen's ladies in waiting walked by. What beautiful shoes! In our opinion, this is the most excellent work we have ever seen. Such precise stitching, they said. The queen's ladies gave the shoemakers 3 golden coins. The grateful shoemakers took the money and bought even more leather. Who is making such beautiful shoes for us? The shoemaker wondered as he cut up the leather. We must find out who is helping us. Tonight, let's stay up and watch, said the wife. That night they did not go to sleep. They hid behind the door of their workshop and waited quietly. Last one. The shoemakers stayed awake watching the shop. At the stroke of midnight, 2 elves in old worn clothes suddenly appeared. The elves hurried to the workbench, grabbed the pieces of shoe leather, and in no time at all made 4 pairs of beautiful shoes. The shoemakers were amazed. Did you notice the holes in their ragged clothes? Said the wife. They have done so much for us. Perhaps we can do something for them. The next day, while the husband sold the 4 new pairs of shoes, his wife made new clothes for the elves. That night, instead of more leather, the shoemakers left the clothes and a note on the work table. The note said, "Dear elves, thank you for helping us." They signed it, the shoemakers. At the stroke of midnight, the 2 ragged elves appeared. They read the note and joyfully put on their new clothes. They danced and sang and laughed with glee. And then they skipped out of the door. The elves never came back. But the grateful shoemakers had enough money to continue making shoes and to live a happy life. The end. That is our story. So can you think about how that ties into our essential question? How can you help out at home? Well, how is this story about helping? I want you to think about that. How is this story about helping others? And you could see when someone helped them, they helped them back. They helped the elves back, right? That's what happens a lot of times. When you're helpful, you're going to get people that want to help you back. Okay, so that's our story, and that is Wednesday's agenda. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. Bye, guys.